Hey guys, I'm here on a little bayou. I'm going to show you a real pretty spot here. I came here to talk to you about the idea of the niche. So I've said some things about structural coupling, and that means how an organism fits into its niche. So came to this beautiful spot to tell you about what a niche actually consists of. So every organism, this tree, these birds, fish in the water over there, they interact with chemicals around them. Think of it as a medium. Matter forms a medium. The organism has a boundary. Every organism is either one cell or multiple cells. Every cell has a cell membrane. So what happens inside the cell membranes, you can typically think of as internal, and what happens outside that membrane or that skin that separates the organism from the world. An observer can think of that as something else. So that environment that the organism interacts with, that's what we call the niche. So in evolutionary theory, the idea is that organisms drift and change, and in the end that results in some sort of fitness, some degree of harmony between the organism and the rest of the world that allows it to survive and reproduce. So what is the nature of that harmony? Evolutionary biologists would say that there's something called genetic fitness to a niche. So that's the idea that the genes can propagate themselves in a certain pattern if the organism interacts with the world in a certain way. So what is that way? You can sort of think of it as an envelope, but it's not an envelope of protection. It's an envelope of possibilities. It's an envelope of opportunities to gain food, water, space, reproductive chances. The niche is really an envelope of opportunities that every organism lives inside. So what those opportunities are different depending on the location of the organism. If it's a tree, it wants to be on solid ground. If it's a fish, it wants to be in the water. If it's a bird, it wants to be somewhere it can fly. But also the body plan of the organism. So the tree can grow tall. The plants grow wide. The fish swim. The niche depends on the body plan of the organism. It's the body plan that puts the organism in contact with those opportunities, gives it a chance to thrive. What is thriving in the context of a living system? It means getting in harmony, getting in sync with that environment so it can complete its cellular processes. Every cell is set up to maintain homeostasis. That means a certain pattern of chemical reactions that happen over and over and over again that keep the cell alive and allow it to reproduce and make other living cells. So all life depends on this cellular process that's called homeostasis, and that homeostasis depends on the right medium, the right envelope. Every organism has to be in the right envelope, and it's not an envelope of certain things, it's an envelope of uncertainty. They're opportunities. There's freedom. There's freedom in this envelope. There are opportunities. But nevertheless, it controls what happens on the inside. There's certain things I can do and say because of the envelope I live in. There's certain things you can do and say because of the opportunities you have. So there are differences between niches. Every individual organism has its own niche. But there are great commonalities between the niche that I can live in and the niche that you can live in. And it has nothing to do with the niche that a tree, this giant oak tree, it has to stand still with its feet in this soil for hundreds of years. Okay, the fish has to swim and bite worms. I ain't doing that. It's the body plan. The body plan is what determines what sorts of things can give that cell homeostasis. And we have trillions of cells in our body, but they all set up the same way. They all need homeostasis. The food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink, that's all giving our cells the right medium to survive, to live. It's about being. A niche is an opportunity for being. Ontogeny.